So this is the final part of the water simulation series, and in this one I will show you how you can make your particles into a mesh so that you can do rendering and all kind of stuff. So in this one you can see that we already done our white water simulation, our main particle water simulation, and now we have to bake that material into a mesh. So if I just go to this cache file, you can see that we have this type of particles of water, and now we have to convert this thing to a mesh. So we have to just use a particle fluid surface node, and in this one, not this thing, in this one we have to just make this thing to surface polygon, and then you have to just use a file cache node, and maybe you can just copy these settings if you want, or you can leave your settings to default. I think you have to change your voxel scale 0.3. You can just copy this setting for better results, and then you just need a file cache node. You have to just bake your mesh. You will get this type of white stuff, and if I just play this, you can see that we have proper water sim. So right now you can see this is kind of a very boxy type stuff. The reason why, because I just use a very low samples. You have to just decrease this number to 0.1 or 0.001, something like that. Just make sure that it will be kind of very intensive to your computer, and it will take a lot of time to render also. I'm just using this 0.3. Then we have to render this. So for the rendering process, you have to separate your geometries into three options. Not three options, but three things, layer kind of. The first one is your crack, the second one is your white water, and the third one is your water mesh. So in the first one, you have to just use this object merge. Just press tab and search for object merge, this node. And in this one, you have to just go back to your main geometry. And in order to get this geometry node, you have to just search for geometry, and you will get this geometry node. You have to just use this thing, rename this thing by F2, and you have to just go back to your main fluid simulation, and then we will just copy this crack one. So you just have to use a null. It's better to use a null instead of copy this thing. So you have to just press tab again, press null, and you will get this null. You have to just connect this, and then you have to just copy this, Control C, back, go back to your object merge, and you have to just paste your location to this one, Control V. You will get something like this. If you just disable this, you can see I can enable and disable my character from this area. So you can just disable your main fluid simulation, and you can separate everything like this. So similarly, white water, I just created another white water geometry like this, empty geometry, and then you have to just go back to your fluid simulation. In the white water source, you have to just add a null at the end of your simulation, then Control C, back again, go to your white water, and then you have to just paste your this object merge. You can see something like this, attribute create volume rasterization. So you don't have to do this. You can just copy merge there. I'll just disconnect this. You can just copy your merge there, and it will work fine. So there we have our white water. Then we just need our water mesh. So again, create a geometry node, go back to your simulation, use a null again, Control C, and then go back to your object merge like this. I'm using this clipping option. You can see my white water is not white water, the mesh is kind of very big in size. I'm just cutting this mesh into this much area so that it is not kind of that big. Basically our setup is done. The crack is separated, white water is separated, and our mesh is also separated. And after that, you just have to go to your out section. This is for rendering purpose. Then you have to create three different layers of your mantra. If you're using free version of Houdini, then you have to use mantra, and mantra is kind of a very slow rendering engine. It will use your CPU to render, and it will be very slow. You have to use karma, or you have to use some sort of other rendering engine that use GPU. But for the free version, the non-commercial edition, you can see there, you can only use this mantra only, and you don't have any other options. You have to purchase a license of India or something like that in order to use different type of render engines. So in this one, you can see we have mantra, and in the mantra node, you just have to set up your start and end frame. You don't have to do anything in this. In the pixelation, I'm just using the settings. You can just copy this and you can just do some hit and trial. So basically the pixel sample will increase your render time. Like if you ever use Blender, there was a pixel noise settings. It works similar to that thing. If you increase this number, it will increase your render time, but it will give you better quality. And before rendering anything, you have to make sure that it will just render a 720p resolution. That was the limitation of your non-commercial version. So if I just go to the render view there, and if I click on render, where you can see we have our crack. You don't have to render in layers. Instead, what you can do, you can render everything at once, and it will be kind of good enough.